I want to start off with your story because, you're a little bit older than me, not much. You grew up in Rio de Janeiro in the 70s, right? And I remember an interview that you gave one time where you said, my life was like the Johnny Cash song, A Boy Named Sue. And if people don't know the song, it's called A Boy Named Sue. And Sue is a girl's name if people don't know. So if you're a boy and you're called Sue, you get beat up all the time. And Renzo had his last name Gracie, and you're in Rio de Janeiro. So I guess everybody looks at you and says, oh, this is the tough guy. This is the guy with the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. What was it like growing up as a Gracie? What was it like growing up in Rio de Janeiro in the 70s?
It was very different, especially on the 80s. On the 78, I moved to Barra da Tijuca. And when I moved there, it was a very desolated area. And I started seeing that the females' relatives couldn't go to the beach because you'd have perverts there doing things on the beach. You'd have people selling drugs. And I was just a kid. I was 12, So, and then I went to surf in a spot. They kicked me out. They didn't let me surf there, saying that I didn't know how to surf. I was going to hurt someone. Get out of here. They kicked me out. I moved 500 yards down the beach, and I put a group of like 12, 13 kids that they were kicked out the same way as I did. And I start training. We start surfing, and I start teaching them jiu-jitsu. We're together build a crew of in the end, we're like 16, 17 kids, like average 12 to 15 years old. And then one day I say, now it's time for us to take over the good spot of surfing. So, and I remember this week I was in Brazil and there's an older guy he was a police officer back then. He was actually a lifesaver on the beach, and then they turned them into a police officer. So he's looking, he goes, Renzo, he just saw me there, because I always go back to that trailer where back then, I remember the guys, they used to come and give me a hot dog. They say, Renzo, you didn't eat today. Here, have a hot dog, They always look after me. So every time I'm there, I just went there again to have a hot dog, and I left $500 for them, and they are the kids of the parents who used to give me the hot dog. Wow. I say, this is from Uncle Renzo here, So, and the father was there, and he looked, and he goes, Renzo, I still remember I was here and I look and I see that bunch of kids, like 15, 17 kids walking. They could barely carry the surfboards. And they came over and I think, what the heck is this? And you guys came and took over the spot. We put up a pirate flag there. We only allowed to surf there, our friends and the good people. If you come and use drugs at the beach, we'd kick your butt. We clean. I went to school with the kids remember the movie, City of God?
Yeah, of course.
I was in a public school, so we went to school together, and fate, because of the situation they were, made them all drug dealers, they would sell the drugs. So I would go there and tell them, look, cannot have drug sales on this spot. Anybody that comes to buy drugs from us, make sure that he cannot go cross this street. Otherwise, we're going to beat them up. We don't want this. The police love us. Everything, like I was there now. The police come to hug me, just now. They go, Renzo, they put in a statue of me on that beach. I'm very uncomfortable with this because they normally put a statue of someone who died, never someone alive. I told them, maybe you guys wait a little. They go, no, you deserve to see this while you are alive. And with that, I kept all the kids on my side. I ended up opening a restaurant and bar that I run it and helped my family from I was 16 until I was 22. I used to sell 27 kegs of beer a night. Was the #1 bar in Rio. Today, the whole street, it's bars and party. This street was based on my restaurant. And with that, I was able to run all my friends around there. I'll put them to help me work. I gave them jobs, and we changed a lot of lives. And one time, and we have my mother move out of the house. It was a big 10-bedroom house. So any kid that had a problem with drugs, with alcohol, we put them in a house with us. We teach them jiu-jitsu. We teach them how to eat the Gracie diet, how to do it right. And recently, I was in Houston doing a seminar, and I told the story. I was telling about this house. And that's the house that you see the fights on it. The door was never locked. It was never locked. And I was telling the story. One guy raised a hand and say, "I know this is true, and I want to tell everybody that it's real, true what he's saying." And then I say, "How do you know?" He goes, "I was there, Hans. You don't remember me, but I was there. I was 12 years old, and I had a drug problem, and you put me in the house. I lived there for 6 months with you." I said, "I can't believe it." He goes, "Yeah, I was one of the kids." you know.
Wow.
So it was an unbelievable childhood. It was different. I was just there now last week. I just came back from Brazil this week, and the police, when I decide to leave, they say, "No, please, we're gonna give you a salary, and we pay all the expense of the house. You keep doing the job." They call it the crazy guy's house. The crazy guys.
Because you kept order. You guys kept order.
Yes, yeah, and we take care of the neighbors. There was no more people stealing in our neighborhood. There was no more perverts pulling over and bothering the woman. There was no more drugs being sold. It was clear. It was not allowed from that point on. And we had the support of the police, of the citizens. It was unbelievable. It was an unbelievable experience. And recently they decided to put a statue there of me.
Wow.
They ask if I wanna from the chest up or a whole body. I said, "We don't do nothing half. If we're gonna do it, I want a gi on one side and a surfboard on the other." Yeah.